Welcome to Waifus of Overwatch. Happy Valentine's Day! Woo! Super extra special Valentine's Day for me, everybody in the universe, because guess who we got as our special guest? It's my husbando, Zenyatta, Feodor Chin.
Hello, Zenyatta is here.
So cool.
This is insane.
Yeah,
This is insane.
and experience Valentine's.
Aww.
I love it.
Heart explodes, pieces everywhere. This is such an exciting moment for me. We got to end the year 2017 with Danielle's waifu, Widowmaker. And so for Valentine's Day, to get to interview you is so thrilling because we don't know you. We've never met you in person. You're not one of our cheating, let's bring the actors we know in person to the interview. You're straight up like kind of like a cold call of like, hey, would you do our show?
Well, the pleasure and the honor is all mine. It's
thrilling.
I've followed a bit with the Waifus of Overwatch podcast, and it's great to be here with you guys. And
Nice.
yeah,
Absolutely thrilling. Well, I'm going to give you a little backstory, Feodor.
yeah.
I have never played a first-person shooter before in my entire life. The last game I was addicted to was Final Fantasy VII back in the 90s. So when I picked up Overwatch, which was what, Danielle, 2 years ago?
Oh yeah.
The gameplay, that first-person perspective, made me nauseous. Like, it just made me super nauseous because everybody moves so fast and you're looking through the character's eyeballs. But your character was always calm. Like, you never jump up and down. Your character is so calm and smooth. You don't go too fast. You don't go too slow. And then everything you say is perfect for someone who has never jumped in to Overwatch. So anybody listening, if you're like, I love listening to the interviews, I love the Overwatch hype, but I'm terrified of the game, it's Feodor's character you should start with. The whole pain is an excellent teacher.
It's true though.
It's legit. Like, you coached me through that first year. So thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
well, you're very welcome. And he does have a lot of those very Zen-like and kind of almost Buddhist truisms that I often wish I had a little more of in my own life, actually. And,
Do you think that maybe by playing him, you have invited that into your space a little bit more?
It's funny because as you guys know, doing when you do a lot of video games, most of the times you're in there just kind of screaming your head off,
Yeah.
and like, get down, grenade, that kind of thing. But those sessions for Zenyatta are really like really just a pleasure because they're just so relaxing and so kind of easy that I often, when I get in there, I actually have to take a few moments, and the first couple lines are usually, oh yeah, just pull it back, it's fine. We just remember
Right.
he's a robot monk. You don't have to get too worked up about anything.
Isn't that amazing? That is so groovy. Like, how opposite is that from every other video game you work on? That's pretty
It
opposite.
really is. It's the complete opposite, and it's nice not to have to do any death screams or
You're so
crazy
lucky.
exertions. You know what I mean?
Right. Unlike,
Yeah.
everyone else.
Right,
Oh
right,
my
exactly.
God. I love it. Okay, so let's start from the very beginning. We would like you, Feodor Chin, for the audience who, we're starting to get people listening to this podcast who don't play the game at all. So, Feodor Chin, you are a professional actor. You live in Los Angeles. Tell us about yourself, where you were from, where you started, where you trained as an actor, what your whole, industry professional life. We would love to hear. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Let's see. The kind of Cliff Notes version. Born and raised in San Francisco, California.
That's why you love the San Francisco Overwatch
that
team.
is, they had they reached out to me not too long ago, and I had to, because I guess they knew that I was from San Francisco originally, and of course I got to rep my hometown.
Yeah, you do. And they're really good. Holy smokes.
They're doing pretty good for a team that, from what I understand, has no Koreans on it.
Yeah.
I think that's,
they're the only one. They're the only
that is
one.
a huge a huge disadvantage
It is.
when it comes to online gaming. At least that's my understanding of it.
It is true.
So,
It is true. We have been to the arena, and that is the case. So they're doing spectacular in consideration of.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, despite that major handicap.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, but yeah, no, I saw those pictures of you, and I understand that Erin, you got memed. You know,
yeah,
that's
so did Danielle. We both got memed. It was our fans are awesome, and they were awesome to watch the stream and screen cap our heads. But who knew that they would put our heads on the screen as often as they did? So they just got ample opportunity to meme our faces
terrific.
off.
That's
so that was
terrific.
kind of nutty. Yeah, but you're from San Francisco. That's the very beginning.
Sorry. Yeah.
No.
Get back on track.
Back on course. Back on course.
Yeah. From San Francisco. Went to UCLA, studied acting there. Well, technically, I was communication studies, but I spent pretty much all my time at the theater department.
And that's got a great theater department.
It does.
Yeah,
it was great. Did a lot of plays there and took the classes and all that. After graduating, moved back home for a couple of years and was kind of working up there, got all my union cards, and then moved back to LA. And that's about it. As far as getting into voice acting.
Wait. No, don't jump into voice acting. But you moved
okay.
to LA. So if you moved to LA, were you intending to do a lot more on-camera kind of acting? Because, I mean, there's theater acting, there's on-camera acting, and there's behind-the-mic acting. So we want to hear, because a lot of people who listen, you must get it all the time. People are like, how do I become a voice actor? And I'm trying to illustrate, both Danielle and I, through this podcast, that majority of people who end up behind a mic started out on the boards. We've tried every form of acting as actors. Yeah. So please tell us your whole story. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing. I definitely, I probably consider myself an actor. I think, frankly, I think it is kind of, it's a discredit to, say someone's just a voice actor. No, you're an actor,
Exactly.
You're an actor who maybe works more in voice acting, but, you're an actor, because I always say, if you can act, you can voice act. Mm-hmm. You're just, you're
either behind a camera, on a stage, or behind a microphone. Though that's where you make money acting currently.
Exactly. And I think for me, it's and you're right. A lot of fans or a lot of folks will come up and ask, "Oh, how do I get into this? What do I need to know?" And honestly, because I think a lot of folks are like, "Oh, I could do a lot of impressions or like funny voices," and that's certainly a part of it. But can you take a script and like break it down and figure out your intentions and that kind of thing? And that's part of where you have to know how to act, quite frankly.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. So
but,
when you moved to LA, what was your goal? Like when you left San Francisco and you moved to LA, what was your goal? What was your intention at the time?
It was definitely to pursue more on-camera work. I had, I think that last year in San Francisco, and this will kind of, not that I have any secrets about it, but you will put me in a certain age range. I'd just had like 2 national commercials and shot an episode of Nash Bridges.
Wow, that's awesome!
And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm ready for LA, guys." And
yeah, you are.
Get down there. Hey, I was just on Nash Bridges, and they're like, "Yeah,
oh yeah,
okay, yeah." We're like, "All right, yeah, can I, get my coffee, please?" That's
I love
but
that,
yeah,
though. Nash Bridges, that's so awesome.
Yeah, so I definitely,
Bridges.
Wanted to, pursue more on-camera work.
Yeah, of course.
And yeah, and I think like a lot of voice actors happen to find, a niche that like, oh, I'm also pretty good at this voice acting stuff, and and you kind of end up doing, maybe more of that than on camera, but that's
I don't know about you, but I had an on camera-ish career. I lived in Vancouver. I'm Canadian originally, and I found that
my mother's from Edmonton, by the way.
Oh, dude, there is a bond.
It's a connection. It's a connection.
Right, there it is. There it is. And I had a really hard time, with the incredibly boring roles they gave a young white female and in her 20s. Like, there was no interesting roles. It was always the exact same role, just put into different episodes of different television series. And there was no like there wasn't any character acting unless you were a hooker or a drug addict kind of thing. I'm like, man, that doesn't interest me at all. But when I found cartoons, I found that the characters that I had always done, but in university they don't care. You can do whatever you want in university. You can play whatever you want. But in the real world, they're like, we're not hiring you for that. But in cartoons, they do. And then video games started, and then like the character work is so much. For me, I don't know about you, but I feel like it's more fulfilling. I think they write better characters. They're not limited by appearances so much in the
that's exactly it's exactly like you say that. I mean, every actor feels like, oh, I can play anything, but the industry isn't going to let you play anything,
right?
But except in voiceover, you do get a lot more latitude to play characters that you wouldn't. Because you're not hampered by any visual,
no, it's real. Like
by your appearance.
I'm white. Danielle is not white. You're not white. So we've got like a diverse. But when we're sitting here on a podcast, nobody would know that if I didn't call it out.
Right. Yeah. No, and it's true, and I think to me that is one of the things, particularly about voice acting, that I do really love is that
the freedom.
You get to play, a wider range of characters.
Yeah.
And that leads to greater diversity within the industry itself.
Mm-hmm. Which is really dope. When you play Zenyatta, who is a robot who speaks Zen Master lines, there's definitely there's a quality to the character. That transcends. I'm going to use transcends. That transcends the fact that he's a robot, that he's AI. Was that a conscious decision with you and Andrea when you created him?
So yeah, I think the very first session, we were looking at the concept art, and I think they had some, like maybe some animatics or something too, and they're like, yeah, he's a robot monk, he's Tibetan. And I think we kind of toyed with an accent at first, but it was like, well, he's a robot. Why would he have an accent? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
It's,
right. Although C-3PO has a British accent, so we could just put that out there as precedence. So.
Right. So I think so after we abandoned that, but there is still the sense that there is a certain kind of maybe more of an Eastern kind of cadence to it, and so I think we put a little of that in there. But for me personally, I remember thinking, well, it's kind of like Mr. Data from Star Trek: The Next Generation, a bit of that.
Ooh,
where he's a robot, but he wants to be human. I think, or he's striving to to reach out to humans, and I think that's important. And so I think there was a bit of that, and in that sense also like Mr. Spock. I'm a big Trekkie myself, so I think that right.
I love it.
So yeah, there's a little Mr. Spock in there too, so I think working off of those were kind of in my mind kind of the templates of like the tone and the cadence of it.
I love that. I can feel everything that you're saying in the character, but I also and this is totally props to you. Like Zenyatta is his own character. He is not a reinterpretation of any other character that exists. He's definitely his own AI beingness, and I think I just feel like he's legendary. I mean, he's just so amazing. I love him so much.
Thank you. Oh no, that's he would be blushing right now. if Omnix could blush.
If Omnix could blush, that would be perfect. So you took. Was this your first? Had you been working video games prior to this game, or is this your first foray into the video game universe? Because there's a lot of cast members where this is their first one, and now they've got tons under their belt since 2 years in. Right. But for this was their initiating into the behind the mic acting.
Yeah. No. Well. For me, I guess I'd say I was fairly veteran when it came to video games. My first game was a game called New Legends, and that was 2002, I think.
That's
so it's been a while.
Yeah,
but
that's awesome.
But but yeah, and as far as Blizzard, I had done World of Warcraft, Mists of Pandaria, the kind of Kung Fu Panda planet.
That's
I guess
awesome.
version.
Danielle was in WoW, and I have also been in WoW, so we've
Yo,
got that in
correct.
common.
Yeah,
High five.
nice,
That's dope.
nice.
That's dope.
Yeah, and yeah, and Blizzard, it's such a gift anytime you get a
Yeah.
chance to work with over there.
So is that where they knew you from, and they just plucked you from knowing?
Yeah,
what you could
yeah.
Oh, that's the best.
Andrew Atoyas had also directed that, and
Perfect.
when auditions for Overwatch came out, yeah, I believe I read for Zenyatta and Hanzo too, which
nice.
actually, yeah, I remember seeing the artwork and actually at the time thinking, oh yeah, I want to be that guy. but Paul, he does Paul Nakauchi does a fantastic job, and he actually, I don't know if he's fluent, but he certainly speaks Japanese, and I don't at all, so that would not have
that
worked.
makes a difference. And in this particular game, it does make a difference a little bit, just because they're going for such authenticity.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is
sure.
so badass, which is part of why we love it so much. So now, so you've definitely you've done video games, all of that, but had you done conventions before this game?
I have not, and yeah, this has been it's been a wild and weird and but very cool ride so far. I certainly haven't before.
This is you're new to, like, because Danielle and I go to conventions. Danielle's literally getting over con plague right now from the convention she was at this weekend.
Yeah, so if you hear me coughing a little bit, it's me just kind of going off.
That's why she's a little quieter this
interview. No, say no more. I mean,
that con plague is no joke.
Oh yeah. I was in Miami about 2 weeks ago and like just kind of fighting something off myself the whole weekend. And luckily, knock on whatever's around here, that it never quite came to fruition, but it was just kind of there tickling the back, like oh God. But managed to avoid it.
What's your favorite part now that you like, I feel like 2 years in now you've had a few cons under your belt. What's your favorite part of the convention experience?
I mean, it's gotta be meeting the fans. And I think this as, voice actors that, it can be an incredibly like solitary, almost kind of lonely, profession because, that's, I think the misconception or the way they think like, oh, you're all in there together, you're all working. And it's like, like you're in there by yourself. And
that's why boothies are so sad. It's just us and a mic. That's it. There's no other people.
Right. And so you could do something, and I'm sure you have you work on a game, you work however many days or weeks on it, and just have no idea like is anybody ever gonna even hear this? Like you might you just gotta put it out there and you leave, and to have done something, and then to go to these conventions and realize that like millions of people across the world, like it's like that's a crazy. I mean that's really
well for your video game in particular. Like Overwatch is unique. Right. It is exceptionally unique. To get to the millions point, that's unique in gaming, and that's amazing. Right. I love that.
Yeah, but I mean, the other thing I think I learned from conventions is, if there's something out there. You might not have heard of it, but man, somebody's into it.
That's true.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just these people dressed up in the cosplay. It's like, what is that? Like, I don't know, but like, somebody's into it. And they love it so much that they're gonna, dress up. And it's been a real trip because
it's been since this game. I go to conventions and Danielle, you did a great job at the one that you just got back from, taking pictures of all the people cosplaying Overwatch characters.
Oh my goodness!
Now it used to be that I would just be looking for people cosplaying as my characters, but now when I go to a convention, above looking for my characters, I'm looking for because I know it's actually more likely I'm going to see an Overwatch character than it's going to be someone as mine. I love it so much. It's so stupid, but it makes me so happy. There were some amazing cosplayers.
Oh yeah,
the ones that are Zenyatta. Have you met any in person?
I've met a few, but that's the thing with Zenyatta, because I think he is kind of difficult to cosplay.
No
For one thing,
kidding.
because you got to fabricate all the stuff, and then if you want to simulate the floating thing, that's always kind of
Yes.
tricky. So it's so yeah, when I get to see what, like, yeah, it's just like, oh, I'm just overjoyed. Uh, and so recently, I think Miami, I met a girl. She did the Nutcracker skin one,
Yeah,
which
that's
was
right. I saw
just
the
great. Yeah,
pictures.
yeah, it's great, and yeah, love that.
That's so spectacular. Okay, and then one last con related question. You were at BlizzCon 2 years ago, right? Like, were you there this year or the year before? I can't remember.
Actually, I haven't been to actual BlizzCon
Oh,
yet.
so you were
Yeah,
just on Blizzard campus afterwards.
right. Yes, yeah. Basically, they
Oh,
have a wrap party they've had a wrap party for us the last 2 years,
right.
and that's at Blizzard. And then BlizzCon, I think they're always pretty good about just kind of rolling things out. Like, they don't want to give too much, or so, like,
Yes,
I think it'd be kind of
yes.
crazy to get everybody there.
Yeah, no,
So
and I like
I
that
don't
because
think,
that gives people like a reason to go every year. It means that they're going to get to see
right.
new people that they adore.
Right, totally.
That'd be dope. Oh, so maybe this year. This one might be your year.
We'll see. Fingers crossed.
Well, with Danielle and I will figure out a way to get there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's so dope. That's really cool. Okay, so now I'm now going to start asking you some questions specifically about Zenyatta.
Yeah.
What part of yourself is also part of the character, or what parts are different? Like, you can, whichever you want to answer first, but what parts of Zenyatta are like you, and what parts are not, or that you think are not? Because this is,
right.
This is all coming from you, but
Right.
your wife might say something different.
Well, I kind of like I touched on earlier, that I mean, I think in general I'm a pretty chill guy, kind of pretty relaxed, and so I think I do have that in common with Zenyatta. But at times that like if there's a little road rage happening or something, that
You're human.
I wish
That's the human aspect.
so yeah, it's true, but I wish I was a little more omnic in that sense, or
That's
omnic
true.
monk, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
But
that's
yeah,
cool.
because he is so chill, and it's like, yeah, it'd be nice to be that chill, all the
So
time.
it's interesting that the thing you have in common with him is also the thing you have different than him in
Right,
certain
yeah,
moments.
I
Certain
would think
moments.
so, yeah.
That's kind of cool, actually. Because that kind of speaks for all of us, really, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah. So what do you connect most with Zenyatta? When you get to be him, what is the heart-to-heart connection for you?
I mean, I think, I don't know to get too corny about it, but like,
Get corny.
I mean,
This is Valentine's Day. Get corny. You're my favorite character. Get corny.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is striving for to maintain this peace between the Omnics and humanity, and he's striving to make the world a better place, kind of like all the heroes of Overwatch are. And I feel like in my whatever way I can, I'd like to try to do that myself.
That is incredibly powerful, actually, in this date and time and everything that we're all experiencing as human beings. That's pretty powerful to be able to just that heart want of like, can we just all get along and not be so angry at each other, or not be gross and disgusting? Can we just be kind? Can we just be? Yeah, that's interesting, because it's interesting how much abuse he puts up with in the game. Because like Torbjorn's always talking smack when everybody's talking about how Omnics. Like, not everybody, but the people who are anti-Omnic in the Overwatch squad have lines that are basically really like, you should have all been wiped out. And Zenyatta never responds. He just is chill and doesn't respond. And I wish I could be like that, because I am not like that. He's so calm.
Yeah.
He doesn't take it personal. He's just like, you have just expressed your opinion.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. But the reality, I think, is I mean, if you're if you ever happen to come across any of my tweets,
which I am an avid follower on, so I know what you're talking about.
Well, yeah, and because there's some grave injustices happening, in our country these days, and it's difficult to. I wish I could be a little more. I don't know, maybe loving and understanding and trying to be empathetic with people who maybe don't feel that grave injustices are happening. But, it's hard. It's hard.
But you're also playing a hero. Like, I mean, you even when I follow your Twitter and you speak your truth and you express your truth, which is also my truth, by the way. I feel like you're being a hero using your voice and speaking up, because it takes courage to speak up, no matter where you are in your experience. And when you're having experiences, like, a lot of this is personal, right? A lot of people have personal experiences and feel things in this kind of personal way. And then there's a universe of people where it's not personal, so it doesn't matter. So if you use your voice and it's your truth and it's your experience, that takes a lot of courage to me.
Well, I mean, I think that is the interesting thing too about this whole experience is that certainly Overwatch, its popularity has given us the voice actors a certain a platform of sorts, and
if you so choose to use it, yeah,
right.
You don't have to.
Way, yeah. Certainly, I don't mean to say like any of it's all not sanctioned by Blizzard at all.
Right.
But
no.
Like,
right. Right.
But yeah, I mean, I would think, and honestly, I think that the heroes of Overwatch would speak out against injustice in any in any form. And
I love that.
Yeah,
I think that's awesome. I think that's why the audience is just as diverse as the cast. Like, the people who play Overwatch aren't just one demographic. It's not just 20-year-old boys.
Right.
It's every race, gender, sexuality.
Absolutely.
We're all into this game and invested because we want this to be like, I have escaped into this game since all of the circus has begun, because the real world stresses me out. It just stresses me out. And yes, Danielle.
And I feel like this game is like a nice escape from what's going on in the real world. Like, it's a nice kind of just, I don't know, it's a nice venting ground, it feels like. So whenever something bad happens to a game like this, it's like you start to feel good afterward.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I can't remember, I think someone alluded to that, but I definitely agree with it, that it's that Overwatch, kind of like probably like Star Trek in some way, like it presents this world that you want to, that's how you want the world to be, or like, that would be a great place, to inhabit. And I think that is the appeal, certainly during these times.
It is, and it's fascinating what brings the salt out in the game. Like, everybody's salty about one person or another, and then you just can't escape it. You're just like, I'm sorry, this is where the salt lies. I can't escape how salty I am about this, which is very honest. It's very cool. Do you play video games at all?
I do.
What?
My own system is I'm in dire need of an upgrade. I have an Xbox 360 that I think is on its last legs, so I should probably get
a PlayStation 4. What? Sorry.
Well, I played.
Oh, my Xbox friends are texting me now.
I played a lot of Halo. So
of course you did. My father is addicted to Halo. He was literally upstairs now watching the Halo anime stuff that they made. And I'm like, Dad, you're watching anime. He's like, no, I'm not watching anime. I'm watching Halo. I'm like, okay.
That's great.
That's dope. So Halo's badass. And that's first-person shooter stuff, too.
That is, yeah.
So you must be used to that whole through the character's eyeballs.
Well, it is. So, yeah, Halo, but with Overwatch, quite honestly, I've played it one time.
That's okay. You don't have to play it because you're in it. It's hard to play. It's hard to play a game you're in. It takes the fun out of it. It becomes like a weird perspective. That's why I love it so much. I'm not in it. I'm like, I can play it freely. It's so nice.
Right. But and I did I played it with Josh Petersdorf, who plays Roadhog.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
We love
And
Josh.
as you probably know, I think he plays all the time. He's really good.
Yes, he is. His Twitch streams are amazing. Yes.
Yeah, he's an actual gamer, and we had played. This was actually at a little convention. We played as each other's characters.
His character's hard.
Well, that's what's and like as you know, Roadhog versus Zenyatta is not a good matchup.
No, it is not.
So yeah, it was not pleasant for me at all. But
you can heal yourself.
Yeah, I can't. If I knew what, yeah, I was, yeah. And so it was definitely out of my. I mean, I'd definitely be open to trying it again. But yeah, that was.
That's cool that you got to do that. It's fun. The game is legitimately really fun. And to be honest, I consider myself a gamer, but I'm terrible gamer. Like I play a lot of hours playing video games, particularly Overwatch now, but I'm not very good at it. And that's the beauty of the game. You don't have to be good at it. You just have to be a team player and do your part. All you can do. I mean, even if I throw my character's body as a sacrifice and it helps the team, you know, it counts. It counts. It works towards something.
And you know, another good thing about video games is like the most important thing is to have fun with it. Yeah. It's good to be good with the game, but if you're having fun with it, I think that's the key kind of thing.
And you can do that with Overwatch. It's not one of those games where you have to be so good or you don't play at all. You know, like I feel like Call of Duty, if you're not a great shot, then get off the game. Nobody wants to play with you. But Overwatch people are a little bit more forgiving.
Yeah.
And you also have turrets if you really need, like I do. So, yay turrets.
Yay.
So, okay, other than Halo, any other games that you loved to play on your Xbox before you broke it?
I think I had the one of the Grand Theft Autos, you know, that's that's an experience in itself. That was fun. But mainly Halo. I think I had all maybe up till 4.
Wow,
like
that's
Halo
commitment.
4.
Okay, so that's your game. Like for Darren DePaul, it was Diablo 3. That's his game.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
That's the game.
No, yeah. What I liked about Halo is that you had the you could get online and play with people, but also that it had the story mode, and I think and I guess just from an outside, well, a guy who doesn't play, I always thought that interesting about Overwatch that there is no story mode, it's just online, and that's cool, you know. But
we want story mode. We want an animated series. We all want an animated series. We love the comics.
I think that would be cool.
The interstitials are great. They need more of that. I mean, if we're gonna get our story mode, it won't be in game, but we want our story mode in animation form. Right. So basically, we have a petition to get you guys more work. That's really our job as fans, is to make sure you guys work forever. That's what we want.
Well, that would be amazing.
So you got to meet, like this year, you got to meet a lot of the Overwatch actors from overseas because Aisha came over, Chloe came over, everybody was kind of there. Does it make a difference when you get to finally meet the people behind the characters? Because I know you're like one-offing lines, but I know Andrea's telling you who you're saying it to.
Sure.
Does it make a difference once you've met the person and you can imagine them?
I mean, a bit. Yeah, definitely. And I think it is interesting how I think everybody, I mean, obviously, how can you not? I guess it's a character that you play, but everyone does have there's a little bit of everybody in their character a bit. And so I think, it's pretty cool.
Well, especially Aisha. I mean, the moment she talks, it's on. It's just so thrilling.
Yeah, no, she's delightful. Yeah.
That's really cool. And now, okay. So, like, you're so deep into it now. 2 years in, ideally, we're hoping for 20 more. And the Overwatch spirit is a real legit thing. Like, there's an Overwatch brand. It's all about inclusivity and diversity. I mean, that's the labels that kind of like people put on it. But for you, if you were to describe in your own words, what is the Overwatch spirit to you based on your experience with it, from your inside, from the beginning to now? What would that be?
I mean, those are certainly, big, certainly a big part of it. But I guess, ultimately, I mean, maybe that all kind of comes down to teamwork in a way, and I think
I love
that is what the game is about. It is working together, because you can't, if you just had all tanks or something, that wouldn't be a good team. Or you need diversity, and you need people to work together, and it's kind of a microcosm for. I guess our world,
Dude, that's no joke. Yeah. I mean, our squad always says teamwork makes the dream work,
Sure, yeah.
And we play with Danielle and I play with the same squad when we can online, because it's the same. We like to be with the same people, because you just build that, who is good at what. And we can still interchange characters, and but we know who's strong in certain areas, and it's just a beautiful, I think it really has to do with what you're saying. It has to do with teamwork. And I feel like since this game came out, just that theme in life is a big deal right now, where everybody, even outside of the game, outside in the universe, I feel like people are really, like, with all the major disasters and hurricanes, like, it's all, everybody has been coming together as a team, and, like, let's just help each other get better at life, because we're not going to be able to do it by ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's deep.
Yeah, definitely.
You are Zenyatta.
Well, I'm striving to be.
That's pretty cool. Are there any non-Overwatch projects that you? I know you post a lot about UCB. You work a lot with UCB.
Oh, I do a lot of sketch comedy in LA. And UCB is certainly one of the places you could probably find me. Although regularly I'm on a house sketch team at IO West.
Oh, great!
And we're every fourth Sunday at 9, if you're so inclined for a little sketch comedy.
Go watch Zenyatta be funny.
Right.
Fourth Sunday at 9.
Every fourth Sunday at 9 at IO West. Our team's called Hussy. So
I love it.
You could check us out there.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you have any other games or anything else that you're in that have released that you can talk about?
Far Cry 5 is coming out. I think in March.
Yes.
Where I'll definitely be a very un-Zenyatta like character, and you'll probably
do right now. I'm a gamer. I'm actually gonna look up that release date right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, check it out. I've seen some of the gameplay. It looks pretty cool.
It's gorgeous. March 27th.
Okay, yeah. So Far Cry 5. Check it out.
Yeah,
you'll probably be killing me a lot.
Wow. Awesome. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, this is amazing. I'm so excited that you came to the show. I'm very excited.
Oh, no.
I'm very excited.
All
I know, this is cuckoo crazy to me. So you travel a lot. Because the conventions and stuff, do you travel normally outside of the conventions, or were you a travel person?
I'm one of those, I get anxious, like packing, I hate and all that. But once I'm traveling, it's fine. But so all the pre-travel stuff is like, but once I'm out there, really enjoy it. And I'm sure you guys know too, though. But with these conventions, it's nice to get to visit different places. But honestly, you're kind of mostly in the hotel or the convention center most of the time. So, so you don't really,
get to
like
see
which is kind of a bummer. But the lovely people of the area come to you, so that's I guess that's a good thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. So if you were to give someone a tip, and I hate this question, but I'm asking you. You're welcome.
No.
Because you're a character actor, and obviously you're very good at creating characters. What is your go-to method for you? Like, are you an Alexander technique kind of guy? Do you where do you go to create your characters from scratch? Like, and especially if you do sketch comedy, you're creating characters on the spot immediately, like in a very quick way, which is, sketch comedy is a beautiful complement, cross training to what we do, because you get behind a microphone and they're like, what else you got? and you got to on the moment create another character.
Oh.
So if your improv skills are up to par, then that's easier. Like, how do you approach that?
You know, I am gonna steal this answer from, and I believe just because I think it's a great answer, and I do kind of employ this myself, but I want to say it was Hank Azaria, but I could be wrong about that, and you probably can Google this, but it's one of the actors from The Simpsons, who, and this is particularly for voice acting, when he was talking about coming up with new characters, he was like, oh, you know, I would often do, like, if you do impressions, and like if you do like an impression badly, like, you know, it's like, oh, Jimmy Stewart's like, oh, no. Oh, okay, just hold on. You do a Jimmy Stewart.
Right.
But if it's bad or you kind of tweak it a bit, you know, like you either slow it down or quick, you know, speed it up, like, boom, there you go, new character.
Oh, yeah.
Because nobody else knows you're trying to do Jimmy Stewart.
Right. Exactly. You know, and I thought that was a really cool, you know, I mean, that's definitely, particularly with voice acting, I think that's a neat trick to you know, you can make a whole new character where it's basically just a bad impression of so,
how much fun. I mean, that's the comedy edge right there. That's super fun.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that is fun. I love it. That's really dope. We're going to I just lost my train of thought. My train derailed, and it's Valentine's Day, and I derailed my train brain.
You lost the payload.
I lost the payload. I moved away from the payload. I need to get back to the payload. Danielle, it's your turn.
Well, I just wanted to know if you had any interesting or even like motivational like fan encounters. Like, has anyone come up to you and said something like, "You've inspired me"? With a performance, stuff like that, because I hear a lot of voice actors, they get stuff like that, and when they first start getting people come up to them and say, hey, you inspired me with this character, and like, have you gotten anything like that at a convention?
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, there would be, I mean, you know, without getting too specific or you know, I think, you know, there really is something about Overwatch that the fan base is, like we've talked about it, you know, we're talking, you know, all genders, you know, all sexualities, all, you know, and so you really get a lot of kids, I found, or, you know, or young people from maybe like marginalized communities. And I think it's, you know, they really, you know, they'll tell me, or they'll tell us that, you know, this is just, has been so great for me, you know, to feel like I belong somewhere. And that's like, just wow, you know what I mean?
People
like,
saying
wow,
they feel
like,
represented because you represent.
Right. You know, and for, you know, just, and for, as far as like a community of like, you know, like-minded people, or, you know, who embrace diversity.
All of it.
Oh yeah. And it's just to be you know, to be able to be a part of something like that is, you know, I've always said, you know, if, you know, if I'm like on my tombstone or whatever, is experience tranquility. Like, that's all I've ever remembered for. You know, it could be a lot worse, because, like, you know, that's, you know, it's a great thing, you know, to be able to help people, or, you know, to.
Yeah, because I don't want you got to eat more meat on mine. So, like, I feel like you've got the better catchphrase as far as. Like, this is where I'm at right now. Okay, good to know. Thanks for the note, Feodor. I have goals. There are goals to achieve.
Well, just in terms of catchphrases too, you know, with you know, I've done a lot of conventions with Josh, and you know, I've gotten to know some of his too, because, you know, we'll often hear them.
My favorite of his is like. Say bacon one more time.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah. You know, but like, also to like, you know, what's nice about experience tranquility, you know, it's easy to say, you're not, you know, wrecking your voice, you know, but if you had to like, ready to go whole hog, like, do that like 100 times a day, I think that would be, you know,
yeah, you definitely scored. You know? You definitely
scored.
Yeah,
I got very lucky.
But it has to feel pretty spectacular as a human being who happens to be in an Asian body to represent what, because we all know that there's just been a total lack of diversity on television, on screen, for all the human beings who are, you know, waiting to be represented, and you get to do that with this game. I mean, everybody in the cast gets to do that for demographics that never get acknowledged or treated with tremendous respect on television. So that's kind of cutting edge in this new universe. How does it feel to get to be like, you are the living role model of breaking those glass ceilings and being like, look guys, we can do everything just like other human beings. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And when I tell you, not a day goes by where a robot doesn't come up to me and tell me that no.
See, Omnics are people too.
Yeah, they really no.
I love that. You're adorable.
But yeah, no, but you're right. I mean, it is such a diverse cast, and I think that really is a testament to I mean, I think that's what makes it
it proves the point that all of Hollywood and the ridiculousness of excuses that they've been using about, it can't be popular if, well, obviously that's not the case, because this video game is doing better than anybody's TV show right now.
Yes.
So maybe they should take notes, is what I'm suggesting.
And we got the Overwatch League going too, so
exactly
better.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's interesting. I feel like the group and the cast is changing the vibrational output of entertainment, period. Because look what everyone is willing to play and accept and pay. You pay money for this game,
Right. Yeah. No, it's definitely an exciting and wonderful thing to be a part of.
Yeah, it's cool. I like that. Danielle?
Yes.
Your turn.
I had a question.
See, like, we're so chill now. I'm like, I'm in like super contemplation mode of like, Zenyatta said some deep stuff. And it's Valentine's. So what do you recommend, Zenyatta, for all of those people out there who maybe don't have a significant other on this day of Valentine's? Like, does Zenyatta celebrate Valentine's Day? Does he have a one true pairing?
Well, I think I've said this before, as in terms of ships with Zenyatta in particular, that Zenyatta is all embracing. So which actually Matt Mercer was there, and he said that polyamorous Zenyatta is confirmed. But no, that's I think
you would go there. That's funny.
If you're by yourself this Valentine's Day, I think like Zenyatta would, you could just put a little love out into the universe, and maybe it'll come back to you, and don't fret. It'll be fine.
See, even that is Zenyatta. Like, that's so to give love. Zenyatta's not about, don't worry about receiving love. Focus on giving the love.
Put it out there.
Dude, that's
I can
so
deep. Saying
that. That is so deep.
Like a Valentine line.
If you give love, you will receive love.
Right.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. Deep stuff, Zenyatta. Deep stuff. This is a very good Valentine's Day for all of you at home. You are welcome. This is so spectacular. We would love to make sure that all of our listeners follow you on all forms of social media and that kind of stuff. So if you don't mind telling the world, how can they find you? Where can they keep up with you? Instagram, Twitter, all of that stuff.
Instagram and Twitter, you can find me at Feodor Chin, FEOCHIN. And I'd say, that's probably the best.
Do you have a website? Like, if people FeodorChin.com, it would take you to my YouTube page, which I update occasionally. But yeah, FeodorChin.com gets you to the YouTube page. But yeah, Twitter and Instagram is mainly, I think, where you'll find me at Feodor Chin. That's awesome. And then if people want to invite you to conventions and stuff, can they get to you through those as well?
Yeah, they should be able to. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And if you guys want to see him at your local convention, you have to request. Make sure you ask to see your favorite voice actors, and they will be invited usually. That's how it works. So make sure you guys do that as well. Feodor Chin, we are so thrilled. I'm so, like, this was 2 years in the making, and I remember I tweeted you, I think, the first month of Overwatch, and so it hadn't even blown up yet, and I didn't even know if you were aware that your character in this game was epically huge. Like, this was before the thousands and thousands of followers that you have now. Like, this was like way at the beginning. I hunted you down like the stalker I am, and I tweeted at you, but I never heard back, and I just that one tweet fell into the universe. And then later, you were using Twitter. I could tell you were like, man, I barely use it. There was no reason to be on. Definitely. So I got buried in the fans after me that came after.
Well, and we've had a few, at least one like real life near misses, right? I think it maybe some SAG after.
Yes, we
things.
have.
And,
yes, Darren has informed me. Darren was like, he was just here. I'm like, no. So I feel like Destiny, we will all meet. I'm feeling like it could be BlizzCon this year, but we'll see.
Well, that would be helpful, because honestly, I have I downloaded the app, and I've watched a few matches, and like it is kind of like somebody who maybe doesn't know football trying to watch a Super Bowl and like what is happening, and so like I understand the basic concept, but
they
like
have the weirdest oh, this person's freezing that person, oh, this person's looking that person, like it's really weird. It's really weird, but you'll catch Danielle and I yelling, "Get back to the payload! You're not on the objective. Get on the objective!" Like that was things we yelled out loud in the actual. Like even the professional players all left the payload to go and murder. I'm like, not one of you, nobody's gonna go move the payload.
Yes.
And you wonder why you lost the match. Okay, then I can give you notes if you want. So, but that would be really fun. That would be insanely fun. We could probably work something like that out. I know that there's a lot of people at Blizzard that are now looking to, like, people haven't gone to the games yet, and you got to go to the games. Honestly, it's ruined the online play for me, because being there live is so much more, like, not me playing the game, that's still awesome, but like watching the Overwatch League on Twitch isn't as satisfying knowing I could sit in those seats. I really wish that they would create season tickets. That's the next thing they need to do, so that we could get season tickets, Danielle. Oh my god.
Well, hopefully after this league season or whatever, I hope they actually consider doing something like that.
That would be amazing. We would show up all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah. We're going to be the old lady regulars in 20. We're going to be like, this is my sport. Boo to you. That'd be pretty fun. Yeah, that's because it was being there live that San Francisco won me over, because their gameplay was really good. They were really good. They just didn't happen to win that night, but their gameplay was spectacular. I was really impressed.
Oh, nice.
And then I was like, okay, Feodor, you have a good team. Because I was giving you salt online.
You're
pulling for the for both LA teams or
both LA teams. I have a hard time picking because Shaz on the Gladiators is the best Zenyatta player.
Great.
Oh, is that right?
What he does with Zenyatta is unparalleled. And then there's
transcendent.
It's transcendent. Oh my God, Shaz! He said you were transcendent.
Oh, I hope he hears this.
And then there's agilities and Soon on the Valiant that blow my mind.
I love Soon.
You know what? There's so many great players. Both teams have great players. In fact, I'm at a place where I could probably I would like to pick players from both teams and create my third mega awesome team.
Oh,
but that's just where I'm at now. We'll see. Give him time. Give everybody time. I mean, Agilities looks like he's 12, so I don't. I figure they've got a long way to go.
They're all pretty young.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I understand that the SF Shock has two players that aren't. They can't even play yet.
Right.
Because they're not right.
They're not old enough.
Right.
That's amazing to me. Like
amazing.
That's amazing. It's so brilliant. And the amount of Korean players really is legit. I'm kind of surprised they don't have a Korean host to represent the fact that there are so many Korean players.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that should be on their next to-do list is get at least a Korean host, because I don't know what is in the water in Korea, but I need to get better at my Overwatch gameplay, and what they're doing is mind-blowing. It's so brilliant. There was one guy the last time Danielle and I went. He was from China. He had just moved to Boston University to go to his first year university, and he flew from Boston to Overwatch League Arena. His name is Pierce Hugh.
Oh yeah, I remember
Pierce
him.
Hugh. Yeah. And he flew so that he could high five the Shanghai team as they went up. And he did. And he did.
Oh, nice.
I thought that was
really
like
nice.
a mega. I thought I was a mega fan, and then Pierce showed up to shame me. I'm a local, is what I am. This kid
is really nice.
Mega fan. That was amazing. He showed up to represent Shanghai.
Wow.
That was so
wow,
dope.
That's terrific.
Right? Like that. I think there's a future. You may want to watch a few.
It could be. Yeah, there could be.
You may want to watch a few. It's going to be just to watch the people play your character. I think because I look at your character as a healer, but watching Overwatch League, they murder with you.
Right.
Murder.
Yeah. He can be quite
slaughtery,
vicious.
Apparently.
Yeah.
I did not know. While you're saying these very calm things, slaughtering the bananas out of the other team. You're welcome. Experience tranquility and death. You're welcome.
Yep.
Thank you so much for coming on Waifus of Overwatch. Danielle, we never do this. My name is Erin Fitzgerald, and this is my co-host. Yeah, my co-host is my best friend.
Hi, I'm Danielle McCrae.
We always forget. We get so excited. And you can follow me at Erin Fitzgerald on Twitter, and same on Twitch. And Danielle?
I am Danielle MCVO on Twitter and Danielle McCrae 1 on Twitch.
Yeah, and Waifus of Overwatch at Waifus of OW on Twitter. Keep in tune with us. These episodes have just. We didn't know we would still be doing this 2 years later. We literally created the podcast so that we could make an excuse for the ridiculous hours we were putting into the gameplay and call it work. Oh, we're right. We have a podcast. We have to play that much.
Right.
And here we are 2 years later, episode 19 with Feodor Chin. I had no idea we would get this far. It's kind of spectacular. Well, we're a year and a half with the podcast, but 2 years of playing Overwatch at least. So who knew?
That's fantastic.
Who knew? I know, right? Who knew? It's so exciting. I'm excited to see where this game goes. I'm really excited to see where your character goes. I'm excited to get to the point where we actually start calling voice actors back to the show.
Yes.
We need to start the top of the list again. That would be kind of neat.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe we could do a live video stream if we ever got to BlizzCon together. That would be neat too.
That would be.
Yeah, it'd be crazy stuff. These are things 2018 we're thinking about, all you listeners. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Cheers, thanks, and loves to Feodor Chin for showing up on Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you. We love you tremendously.
Yeah. And pass into the Valentines.
Aw.
Bye.